and of course the economy and what's going on in politics. So a lot of this could be predicted, but a lot of this is just like I said, it's a wait and see thing of how things will unfold. But yes, AI is, I don't want to say coming to take over, but AI will be a mainstay in our society and our culture moving forward. I could definitely say that. All right. So there you have it, man. I just wanted to come here and do kind of like a recap, a review, whatever you want to call it, of what will be going on for 2025. Some of this you may have known, some of it not. So I just wanted to make sure that, I come and speak on some things that's happening in 2025. I hope it will be an awesome, fantastic year for you, regardless of what's going on in the government and on a macro level. I hope that you have things planned to prepare to be as successful as possible in 2025. But as always, I'm you, you are me, love always eternal. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, and we are out. Deuces. One love. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition, not episode, of Making the Case. Today, we kind of review what's going on in 2025. We're here, so we might as well talk about what to expect in 2025. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Once again, I'm your gracious host, Dr. Jacob Isom, educator, author, speaker, entrepreneur, content creator, father, a little bit of everything. Back at you with another edition, not episode, of Making the Case. So we're finally here. We arrived. We're in 2025. It's just something about that has a ring to it that, a lot of people are feeling good about 2025. I know I am. So what we're going to do in this edition of Making the Case is we're going to kind of set the stage, set the scene for what's going on in 2025. I hope you are planned, prepared, and I hope you strategize for what is to come. Now, we can't predict what will be going on in the future, in the upcoming months of 2025, but we can be prepared to expect there's going to be some messiness. It's going to be a lot going on in 2025. So, um, hopefully it's not as messy as 2024 was, but we can be expecting things like that of nature. But before I move on, our two channel norms, we take points and not people. And second, we don't do all that cussing and derogatory stuff because we're professional over here. Okay. So in this edition of Making the Case, what I did was I want to pull out a couple of things of what you can kind of expect in general for 2025, because like I said, of course, we don't know what specific things are going to happen. Now we know we already got some things brewing politically. Unfortunately, we know some famous people are going to pass away this year. It happens every year, right? So we can always predict something that's going to happen in 2025, but some things that you might not be aware of or know of. So we're going to kind of touch on some of those things in this edition and kind of set you up for what you might need to look for in 2025. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into the first thing that I want to address when it comes to 2025. Let's get it. So, I have a article from the Week. I believe it's an online newspaper. that is going to be addressing kind of what to expect in 2025, or what will happen in 2025, I should say. So let's kind of go over this article and see what they got to say. Predictions and events. Uh, Here's a little merriment for Christmas. A lot of people didn't think this year was the worst they could remember. Only 65% of respondents to the Ipsos Prediction Survey 2025 at 33 country study said that they thought 2024 was a bad year for their country, the lowest figure since 2019. Despite record levels of conflict, high inflation, and cost of living crisis, it seemed that 2024 left the world in a state of cautious optimism, with the Paris Olympics providing a fleeting moment of shared celebration. I can see that point. A higher number, 71%, said they were optimistic about 2025. Would be even better, but this ratio was below pre pandemic levels. Israel bombardment of Gaza and war with Hamas, which escalated into all out confrontation with Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran, as well as the ongoing war in Ukraine, contribute to this sense of unease. Political upheaval and unseating of 80% of incumbents in democracies further fuel this uncertainty, which, and I can kind of get that. There is a lot of semi wars and wars are going on in other countries, other places. There's a lot of political unease, not just in the United States, but in other countries as well. So I can see why people would be hesitant about being optimistic about 2025 on a more macro level. But on a micro level, I think a lot of people may have different feelings. But, you know, to each their own. Economics. The economy is beginning to stabilize after the pandemic. Most countries have largely got a handle on rampant inflation. But economics will still play an outsized role in politics next year, said public policy professor Thomas Klassen on the conversation. The International Monetary Fund is predicting stable yet underwhelming growth, but even stable conditions can generate political fallout and economic dangers lurk on the horizon. And of course, people, and this, I imagine, is a reason why they put economics at the top. People are always going to be concerned about economics. Of course, we still dealing with high food prices, high gas prices, high housing prices, and things of that nature. So, people have a lot of important decisions to make, which is why we don't need to be shaming people. We need to be helping people, right? But we'll talk about that in an actual episode. All right. Let's continue though. Um, Hold on. There's a coming trade war between the U.S. and countries like China and possibly with the EU, as well as Donald Trump threats of destructive tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The price of Bitcoin has also more than doubled in the past year. And the trouble with bubbles is that when they burst, recessions or depressions often follow, which is true based off history. America's inordinately large share of the world's financial markets remains the mother of all bubbles, said the Financial Times, contributor editor Ruchar Sharma. The fact that virtually every Wall Street analyst predicts U.S. stock will keep outperforming the rest of the world suggests that the bubble is at a very advanced stage. But the late stages of a bubble, prices typically go parabolic, like U.S. stock price over the past 6 months. All the classic signs of extreme prices, valuation, and sentiment suggest the end is near. It's time to bet against American exceptionalism. Okay, so this is what they saying to look forward to in 2025. So economically, politics, what people love to talk about, right? If 2024 was a year of democracy, the biggest election year in history, then 2025 at least looks like a less hectic schedule. But there will be bellwether elections on three continents in Australia, Canada, and Germany. The latter, Europe's biggest economy, is the big one to watch. Chancellor Olaf Scholz just lost a historic vote of no confidence following the collapse of this governing coalition in November, which triggered earlier election. The situation coming at a time of deep economic crisis and geopolitical uncertainty for Germany, said The Guardian. The results could be a strengthening of the far right as politicians fight to lower voters who are disgruntled over the cost of living and crisis and stagnation over Ukraine. There's also debate about whether Syrian refugees should now be urged to return and call for the conservative opposition and far right alternative for Germany for radical rethink of asylum policy. So people politically are just not going through in the United States, so it's happening in other countries. So and the economy seems to be the hot button topic, as well as war and borders and things of that nature. So, Trump 2.0. How did I know this would come up? The repercussions of Trump's reelection will affect everything from immigration and defense to economics and trade, said Tom Standish, editor of The Economist World Ahead 2025. His America's first isolationism will have friends and foes alike question the solidity of America's alliances, which could lead to heightened tensions and even nuclear proliferation. I hope that does not happen. Trump has claimed he will end the war between Ukraine and Russia and help secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas to bring an end to the bombardment of Gaza. But his unpredictability and his threats to a trade war will exacerbate existing geopolitical tension and alienate foreign allies. Americans' transactional stance would encourage troublemaking by China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. The quartet of chaos. It is unclear whether America will stand up to China in the conflict over Taiwan. So these are some questions with Trump getting into office, say what you want to say. Things are pretty fragile. So there's a lot of questions to be answered in 2025 that we just don't know yet. The Middle East. This will remain the world's hotspot, said Classen, with its confluence of authoritarianism, nationalism, religion, and superpower involvement. The recent fall of the Assad regime in Syria will probably increase instability in the region. Libya, in particular, could bear the brunt of the stunning collapse of Assad's regime, said Frederick Wery, senior fellow in the Middle East program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Assad's downfall has changed the strategic positions of the two regional powers, Russia and Turkey, and could affect the fragile equilibrium between the two in Libya. In Syria, the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group that toppled Assad can talk the talk, saying what Washington and Europe want to hear. Daniel Stroll, former senior Defense Department official, told NBC News in 2025 they will have to walk the walk. So that's kind of all I want to really share with what we can kind of expect in 2025. So it looked like kind of almost the same. We're dealing with politics, we're dealing with the economy, we're dealing with border issues, we're dealing with war. And how these things are gonna play out, we get to see, and a lot of it play out in this year, and hopefully not going to 2026. So that's kind of what to expect on a more macro level, and in some instances a micro level. But I want to also address what's going to happen in the world of technology because we love our technology. All right, so let's get into that next. All right, so Forbes has 12 tech predictions for 2025 that will shape our future. So we know that we love our technology, and we know that technology definitely does make an imprint and a stain on the way we live our lives. So I'm definitely interested in what these technology are, as I'm sure you are as well. So let's get into those 12 predictions that they have. The year ahead looks set to become one of tremendous change as consequences of progress in fields such as artificial intelligence, which has been huge over the last couple of years. Robotics, biotechnology, and space exploration economy will see constant transformation. These innovations will create significant opportunities and threats. In 2025, we will need to focus on welcoming amazing innovation and progress while keeping these advancements on the rail of ethical implementation and use. Yeah, we'll see about that, right? Global economic shifts. Advancements, Did I go too far? Hold on. No, I didn't. It seemed like it went up. Advancements in technology will shape economic growth. There will be an apparent dichotomy between countries that participate in an innovative economy and those that lack the ability or infrastructure to do so. The consequence of the growth of automation and trends toward the decarbonization of industries will act as catalysts for change in the distribution of power in the international arena. Those failing to do so will lag behind, while others, such as the BRICS group, will continue to seek a shift from the US dollar. However, the U.S. economy is expected to grow, decrease inflation, increase employment, and lower interest rates. These changes underscore the need to complement investment, innovation, and change or reskill the workforce to compete globally. One thing, regardless of how the shape of the economy is in, we're going to always put money towards innovation and creation. We're going to always put money into our military. um, we can't say the same about education. Um, we can't say the same about social services, welfare, and things of that nature. But we will always, always, always put money into innovation for sure. STEM absolutely will be funded. Okay. Let's keep reading. Stock market shifts and AI dominance. Wall Street is expecting a great year. The U.S. equities index is expected to reach at least 6,500 by the close of 2025, representing a 9% increase in price from its present value and a 10% total return when factoring in dividends. A good deal of these gains will be courtesy of the AI firms. NVIDIA will be a valuation lender because of its strategic position in AI hardware. Interesting IPOs will be launched from Stripe to Databricks. Robotics will also experience exponential. For instance, Boston Dynamics will start achieving major milestone after its humanoid robot sent notice to the entire industry in 2024. Even as AI keeps creating value in diverse industry, conventional fields will feel pressure to integrate these technology into their system, bring added volatility to the market. Uh, Absolutely. Um, Particularly AI, I know in the field that I am, which is in education, um, we've already had trainings on AI, and a lot of teachers are already using AI when it comes to creating lesson plans and things of that nature. So AI is just going to continue in 2025 to be even more dominant in a bunch of different fields. And eventually, every field will be using some form of AI for sure. So I definitely understand that. AI and robotics transformation. Multimodal AI and AI agents will transform industries. Several recently developed methods for electronically interpreting and producing multiple forms of data, text, images, and audio will allow sectors, including healthcare, education, and communication service, to innovate their process significantly. Agent AI Agentic AI agents will operate as a strategic workforce for complex work, including legal requirements, supply chain efficiency, product development, and other fields to improve efficiency and productivity. Robotics will increase across domains. Applying robotics is going mainstream as socionic and anthropomorphic. Robots like Ameca and Digit go from being novelties to being essential in elder care, warehousing, and retail. Ordinary multitasking robots will become the backbone of the healthcare and logistic industries. In households, inexpensive robotic appliances will prevail over conventional devices, providing greater protection, linking, and ease of use. In 2025, there will be confusion over what constitutes and does not constitute human effort, leading to profound debate over the topic of work, self, and meaning. Man, that is, and I know a lot of times in the past we talked about like the future, right, and how we have flying cars and robots, stuff like that. While some of we know it will never be true, but some of it is coming to fruition, right? Particularly like robots being, and not like actual robots, right? But like the thing that picks up trash on the ground and stuff like that. I forget what you call it, but like robots a term of doing stuff, simple stuff that we used to do, what we now don't have to do. All right. So I see that continue to increase in 2025, as this article is saying. So advancement in space exploration. I know that is where we definitely want to get. In 2025, humanity will continue experiments in deep space exploration and take a baby step towards the commercialization of outer space by forming permanent habitats on the moon through private business ventures and government initiatives. These are the early steps, but they will be the dawn of a sustainable economic presence on the moon. Asteroid mining will be a concept that turns into reality as firms such as Astroforge aim to launch a compact refinery into space designed to extract minerals from asteroids and transport only the precious metals back to Earth. Improvements in technology will keep making space tourism easier, allowing the ultra elite to go into space. Yeah, we've been seeing that, right? The rich want to go into space. We've been seeing that. Fueling this is the advancement of rocket reusability by SpaceX and Blue Origin, alongside the increasing interest of nations in attaining space assets for regional security and economic gain. Such advances are likely to yield trillion-dollar industries. There is a massive shortage of new governance for the celestial region and conflict resolution. 2025 will mark the key year when humanity will experience the change of its goals and dream to start a new life on a new planet and move from being earthbound species to a multiplanetary species. And I know we've been working on that um, for quite some time. So I'm not. I won't be surprised in 2025 we make some huge new feat when it comes to space exploration. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Let's see if I want to cover anything else. Automotive and transportation transformation. Yeah, I do want to talk about that. While Gardner forecasts that 85 million EVs will be on our roads by the end of 2025, I predict that 1 in 4 cars sold will be electric. That's interesting. Self-driving vehicle fleets will begin appearing in large cities. The EV transition will start to upend the world's oil consumption and needs, forcing the automotive oil industries to embrace green energy and other energy efficient areas. I definitely agree with that. I see that coming as well. A lot about AI. So, yeah, we're just gonna. So we see that 2025 a lot about robotics and AI, and of course the economy, and what's going on in politics. So a lot of this could be predicted, but a lot of this is just, like I said, it's a wait and see thing of how things will unfold. But yes, AI is, I don't want to say coming to take over, but AI will be a mainstay in our society and our culture moving forward. I could definitely say that. All right. So there you have it, man. I just wanted to come here and do kind of like a recap, a review, whatever you want to call it, of what will be going on for 2025. Some of this you may have known, some of it not. So I just wanted to make sure that, I come and speak on some things that's happening in 2025. I hope it will be an awesome, fantastic year for you, regardless of what's going on in the government and on the macro